Hello, my name is Laura and welcome to or back to my channel. So today I would like to do my fall knitting plans / mood board for the fall YouTube video. I've seen a couple of these and I have absolutely loved them. So I thought that I would give it a shot myself. So, sorry about the cat. So I am not normally the kind of person who plans out this far in advance her knits. Normally I'm a mood knitter, so I knit whatever I'm feeling like knitting next, which is often why I have like 5 whips on the go at one time. But in my effort to become a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Intentional. In order to become a little bit more intentional about my yarn purchases and my consumption of knitting goods, I think I'm gonna try to plan out my knits for the fall and even into like the winter a little bit. So basically my plans from now until the end of December. The first thing that I think I'm going to knit is the Stalk and Pip Beret by Ailbíona Mclochlainn. I think this is absolutely adorable. I saw Wilhemina Fibers. I saw her talk about this on one of her latest podcasts, and I was like, oh my god, I have to make this. This is so adorable. So I think I'm gonna do that, and I'm going to use yarn that I have in my stash right now. I have the Knitpicks Simply Wool worsted in my stash. I know that technically the pattern doesn't call for worsted weight, but you can alter the pattern to be worsted weight, so I think I'm gonna do that. I have this lovely like cool brown color. I can't remember what it's called, so I'll pop it here. And I'm very excited to use it. I've had this wool in stash for a while now, so I think this project is going to be perfect for it. I may also end up knitting one of these for my boyfriend because I showed him the pattern and he really loved it as well, so we shall see. My next plan is the Eva Cardigan by Petiteknit. I really want to use the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in Dusted Olive. One of the big things I'm trying to do this season, in addition to being more mindful and intentional about my yarn consumption, is be more intentional about the colors that I'm choosing and the colors that I'm using. So for this season, I'm really hoping to go for like olive colors, whether that be like more of a medium olive or a little bit of a darker olive, with kind of soft pinks, which obviously I love. Pink is my favorite color, as I'm sure you've noticed by now. So I think I'm gonna go with like dusty olive, soft pinks, kind of like this, and maybe a little bit of like navy blue and cream, but definitely focusing on like the dusty olive. I absolutely love that color. I think it suits my skin tone really well. So the Heavy Merino in Dusty Olive from Knitting for Olive. I haven't ordered this yet, but I'm going to. I don't have a cardigan in this style at all in my wardrobe right now, and instead of buying one, I was like, I could make that. I've also never knit a cardigan before, so I'm very excited. This is going to be something new for me. What I'm really trying this fall to like branch out and try new things. So the other thing I'm going to try is knitting 2 socks at once with the magic loop method. Never done that before. I've actually never done magic loop, so we'll see how that goes. I will keep you updated and I will let you know how that goes in the next podcast. But yes, I'm going to try knitting a cardigan. I'm very excited. Should be fun. Oh, the next thing that I want to knit, obviously this is not in chronological order when I'm gonna knit them, because this next one I actually have to wait until December. So I ordered a yarn advent from Gem State Yarns. The theme is holiday food, holiday cooking, which I absolutely love. Holiday meals are some of my all-time favorites. I just adore them. So I thought that yarn advent was absolutely perfect. So with that, I'm going to make the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose. I am so excited. I saw this blanket and thought it was the most adorable thing in the universe. And then I saw this yarn advent and I was like, this is going to be the most perfect blanket. So I'm gonna do that with Sandnes Garn whipped cream in Double Sunday. I also haven't ordered that yet. I'll order that a little bit closer to December so that I can get the whole dye lot or at least hopefully get a similar dye lot. I am so excited to knit this. I'm hoping I can do like 1 square a day, like with the little yarn that I get from my advent that day. I think that'd be really cute. But we'll see. I might not have time because obviously that's going to be end of quarter for me. I'm going to be doing exams and grading exams. So we'll see how much time I have in December, but if not, I will catch up on it during Christmas break and I'll have it for the new year. And I'm so excited. It's going to be absolutely adorable. The next thing I have on my list is the first sweater by Hive Knits. Now, I had this on my plan and then I saw the newest sweater, the Resta sweater by Hive Knits that's coming out. And I have some ideas for that sweater as well. But I love the shoulder detail and the arm detail on the first sweater. I think it's half fisherman's rib or fisherman's rib on the arms. So I'm really tempted to do that. I think for that one, I'm going to use the Knitpicks Simply Wool Worsted as well. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sold on that. I could also potentially use one of the Sandnes Garn yarns or Knitting for Olive yarns. I have knit with the Knitpicks Simply Wool Worsted before. I knit a versatile sweater by Gregoria Fibers in that a couple years ago. It is hands down one of my most worn sweaters, and I actually do have a sweater quantity of that yarn in my stash right now because I want to make another versatile sweater, but with a few modifications to it. The problem with this yarn is that it pills a lot. Like, it pills far more than any of the other yarns I've ever used. So I'm not 100% sure if that would be a good choice for the versatile sweater, or sorry, not the versatile sweater, for the first sweater by Hive Knits. If you have any suggestions for yarn, leave them in the comments because I'd really like to know. I'm very excited to knit this sweater. The reason I like the Simply Wool Worsted is because I love the color range. I think all of the neutrals, both warm and cool, suit me really well, and I really, really love their shades. So if you have any suggestions for maybe similar shades, leave them in the comments. I'd love to know. The final plan that I have for my fall knitting is the Sibling sweater by Laura Penrose. So I talked about this on my Instagram. You may have seen my latest reel where I'm talking about like different color combinations that I might do. I think I have settled on the Sandnes Garn Whipped Cream as the main color and then the dark dusty olive as the contrast color for the stripes. I love this sweater. I think it's beautiful. As you can tell, I'm a huge fan of Laura Penrose. I love her patterns. I think they're beautiful. I love her podcast. I think it's riveting and adorable. And yeah, so I'm very excited to knit her Sibling sweater when it comes out this October. That might be a little bit of a later knit because I do have to finish my Saren sweater first. So I might do that more towards like November. I haven't decided yet. Obviously it'll be whenever the cast on energy hits me. But yes, I'm very excited for this sweater, and I think that the dusty olive, the dark dusty olive and the whipped cream will be a stunning combination, so I can't wait. The other thing that I do plan on knitting throughout the fall, but I don't really have like a set plan for, is socks. I generally like to have a pair of socks on my needles at all times. I just find them very relaxing. They are my favorite thing to knit. And I have a lot of ideas for sock patterns that I'd like to put out over the next little while. So I think I'm going to be doing that throughout the fall as well. I'll hopefully be using up some of my stash yarns. I have a couple of sock sets that I really want to use that are absolutely adorable. Some of them are by Sunday Fiber Co. One of them is by Coast to Coast Yarn Co. I recently ordered another sock set that I'm not going to give away what it is until it arrives because that'll be in my next podcast. So yeah, I think I'd like to use up some of those in my stash. I think I'll turn a lot of them into Christmas presents. I haven't quite decided yet, but we'll see. But yes, I always love knitting socks. Whenever the cast on energy hits me, I like to cast on a new pair of socks so that I always have something to work on in the car and stuff like that. And like I mentioned earlier, I want to try doing 2 socks at once on the magic loop method, so that'll be fun. I have the yarn picked out for that. I'm gonna knit them as a Christmas present for a friend. So that'll be in my next podcast, hopefully, as well. So I know this was a bit of a shorter video, but that is my knitting plans for the fall. I know it's not super extensive, but I'm a grad student and barely have time to do anything else other than school, so I don't want to overload myself with too many knits. If I don't get to all of these, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'll just move on, push them off until the winter, maybe work on them in 2024, or postpone them until next winter. We shall see, or next fall, I guess. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like it, please give it a like. I'd be very, very, very grateful. Yeah, and thank you so much. Stay tuned for my next podcast. Have a lovely rest of your week and lovely knitting. Bye.